Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doodle Robot and today we're going to look at my finished coloring pages from May and June of 2022. I thank you for joining me today, and at the top I want to thank everybody who subscribed. We reached a milestone. I passed 1,000 subscribers. Yay! So I'm happy for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. After I film this video, I'm going to do my whips. Normally I do my whips. I'm not going to do that here though. My whips and channel updates and thoughts and stuff like that. How we will proceed forward. I'm changing a little bit. Nothing drastic. Don't get excited. So today though, we have finished coloring pages, and I actually took notes on what I wanted to say. It's my summer break, so I can take time to have a thought, or even two. So I'm not just doing it off the cuff. I took notes. I've got it situated not by when I did them, but by, we've got designs. Then we've got some water-based marker experiments. Then we've got some Amazon paper and my thoughts on that. And then just kind of regular coloring there. So that's the order that we're going to go in today. So let me keep these out. I'll put these off to the side. Okay. All right, so we're going to start out with the designs. We're going to go from kind of very ordinary design to Zaza Zing. So it's like a 70s drug-induced hallucination design at the end. So they're both in the same book. So we gotta skip that one. And we'll start out with the most mundane one here. And for this time, you know, some of my thoughts, I wrote them down here. This took me 3 days, because some of my works take like months. Like I start them and then I set them aside and then I work on them and I set them aside. It takes me forever. I'm super slow. So this was just a mundane one. This actually took me 3 days. I think I actually worked on it 2 days though. Oh, and this is in, sorry, my bad, Geomandala 2 by John Wick. This is one of his self-published books. He usually does stuff through Creative Haven. So this is plate 18, and this was just during school. It was like May. It was the end of May, and I couldn't do anything but pick a few colors and just color them in. So I did that, and it was great. It was very therapeutic. So yeah, so like the last month of school, the first month of school, maybe mid-year, around, you know, end of the semester, first semester. Yeah, that's when it's just too hard to color. So as you saw from my haul video, I bought a bunch of design books because all I had was like Geomandala 1 and 2, which are great, but they're the same thing over and over and over. So yeah, so I just picked out some greens and just went to town. Nothing special there. There is some Artisan glitter gel pen. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So this one now suffers from mandala envy. Like the other one, which you'll see at the end, that's the Zaza Zing one. So yeah, that took me 3 days. All right, up next is one that took me a long time. This is, I have to move you out of here. This is a big double page spread. But I bought this book specifically actually for the wallpaper pages because I thought I could paint them. I don't know, that might have been a mistake because it took forever to paint. All right, and as promised, it is a wallpaper page. This one took me let's get you situated here, 2.5 months. Are you in frame? Mostly. 2.5 months. Now, I didn't work on it continually for 2.5 months. Most of these I don't. I just pick them up and work on them here and there. I guess that's why it takes me forever. It is mostly colored with apple barrel acrylic paints, the matte paints. You have to use matte or it will stick. When you close it, it will stick together. And you'll have paint peeling off and stuff like that. I used a little bit of Prisma in the star to go around all those lines. All those lines, by the way, are covered with silver Signo gel pen, Uniball Signo. I also used Dragonfly glaze, Folk Art Dragonfly glaze here. If you can see it shining, that's the dragon glaze. I love this stuff. I've got 3 of them. That's these things here. They are awesome. They're hard to read though. They need to do something about their packaging. So yeah, so those dragonfly glazes are really, really nice. Very fine glitter in them. I use lots of shiny stuff. I use Papermate Flare, Jelly Roll, Pen and Gear gel pens, Uniball Signo Silver, like I said, to trace all of those lines. It took forever. I also used, I altered it only a little bit. I added this little like wind gust shape there and the little star shape there. They were kind of plain. So I didn't alter a little bit. I did a lot of dots all over the place. I guess that's altering. Kind of doodling dots there. So yeah, 2.5 months for that one. And that was good. It's no surprise that I finished it up in May, which is basically the time when it's like, I can't think of anything. I just need to sit down and do something where everything's already picked out. And I can just go. I don't have to think about it. So the next one is one of my new pattern books. So this one was done in June when I'm off and have time to do stuff. I really like this one. This is Amazing Patterns. This is by Coloring Book Kim. And I really like how this one came out. This is all alcohol marker and a black Posca pen and a gold Uniball Signo gel pen. I was trying to use up, because I never use it, the gold Uniball Signo gel pen, so I was finding a way to use that. And I was trying to use up some really old black Posca pens that I have. I did not achieve either goal. They're still going strong. But yeah, so there's a flip through of this design book on my channel. It's new, and I don't think there was one that I could find on YouTube, so I did a flip through of it. I really like how it turned out. It was very relaxing. It was a nice thing to do, you know, after school got out and I was tired and just didn't want to do anything. I tried to make some of the background here with the brown and the black just move to the background. Otherwise, everything is just like a design and it's all one-dimensional. I tried to make it two-dimensional by my use of color there. So I didn't alter anything on this page, but it's it's very crunchy though. Listen to that. I love the crunch. So that's from the Posca. Yeah, this is like I said, I have a flip through of this one on my channel. It's a really cool design book. It's a nice slow flip through for you, because all the other flip throughs I found were super fast and you couldn't see anything. All right, we are back to the drug-induced hallucination design. I gotta issue a warning here. You've not entered the Twilight Zone. This is not an LSD-induced hallucination. This is real, people. And I did alter this quite a lot. Let's look at what some of his stuff looks like before we look at what I did. I'm not sure if I like it. Some days I like it, and some days I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Why did I do that? So I like John Wick because he puts a mandala in a square book, so there's not all this extra space. That drives me insane. It's like, are we artists? Can we have good composition? Okay, so they're pretty tame. All right, let's see the damage here. Okay, here we go. This one took me 3 days. I worked on it obsessively. And it was like not 3 days of an hour or so. It was 3 like days of many hours. I'll tell you why. So a lot of the mandala I removed because I wanted to do this like pop art, 70s style disco background here. I call this one, by the way, Disco Night Drag Queen Bad Hair Day. That's its title. It was really hard to alter this because I started with pink, and that was a transparent color, so I had to go over with black. So I had to paint it black, and then I had to paint this pink. And to get the pink to cover the black took about 8 coats. 8 coats. This page is so thick now. It is super thick. Like, it's 3 or 4, the thickness of 3 or 4 of these pages. I did not at the time, and I have yet to try this. I still have to try this. I went and bought, after this whole experience, I went and bought an opaque matte white. So I can not have that problem again. So basically I blotted it all out. What I wanted, I made pink. And then I drew on the designs, which is hard. Normally, as an artist, I would draw the background and then I would draw the foreground. But here, you're working with an image that's already drawn, so you have to work around the image that's there. All right, so we did that. That was very time consuming. Many layers of pink, like I said, about 8, and then many layers, I don't know, I think 3 of orange to cover up my lines. There was a whole line problem. And measuring it all out, it was hard. It was very time consuming. The mandala is done with alcohol markers. I used this here. I used a stencil. I made a starburst stencil for this here. So that's an addition. His mandala's in there. And then I blotted out some of it and I added just the stuff around it is what I added. Apple Barrel acrylic paints, matte. Folk Art metallic here on the dots. I actually did the dots with another color. I used my Ohuhu acrylic markers on the dots. I didn't like it. I wanted it to be shiny, so I went over it with a Folk Art metallic, so it shines. Hopefully you can see that. It's very glittery and shiny. There's shine everywhere. Disco Night. Okay. I used Artisan glitter gel pens. I love those things, except glitter goes everywhere with those. I used a $1 Crafters, the dollar store, metallic marker as well. I think that's about it. Posca pen, Ohuhu acrylic markers here and there. So lots of acrylic. This one's not crunchy so much because there's just so much acrylic in the background. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. All right, that's it for the design books. We're off to my experiments with water-based markers. And the first experiment, gosh, this book is big. Such a big book. It is very long. It's almost 12 inches. This is classic comic, sci-fi, and horror. It's got a gazillion illustrators because these are historical comic book covers. There was no place to test colors, so I made a little test area here. But what I'm experimenting with water-based markers is being able to do a flat block colored area without the lines showing through too much. Because in this book, it's double-sided, so I guess I could use alcohol markers if I only wanted to do half the pages, but I kind of would like to do all the pages, if I live to be 120 years old. But I was trying to figure out a way to do water-based markers without being able to see the streaks, and I think I've got it down. So I'll tell you here what we did. The red and the blue and the yellow here are all water-based markers. Now on top of his blue hat thing here, I did go over it with some white Prismacolor, I think, or it could have been Crayola. No, I think it was Crayola, white Crayola color pencil, just to give some definition there. The planet is block colored water-based markers, as are all of these little creatures here. Although on the coloring page there was shading in them, so I tried to, where are you? There you are. I tried to shade it like they have it there. And mostly I was true to the picture. I added a little bit of pink here. It was white, and I didn't like that. I'm like, oh, if this is a pink planet, it will have a little pink atmospheric dust or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. So I changed his goggles. They matched his thing, and I'm like, you can't see them if they're that color. I also changed this because it was pink. It was red on pink. Like, how are you supposed to see that? So the background is Crayola colored pencils, just a smooth blend. These here are Prismacolor. I think from now on I'll use Prismacolor instead of Crayola. The Crayola goes down nice, but you gotta work much harder to blend that than you do the Prismacolors. And I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. So yeah, so that was my first experiment using water-based markers, trying to get them to be flat. I may do a video on how I do that so you don't see the streaks. It's a multi-step process though. For those of you who are in a hurry, it's not going to work. That one only took me 3 days, and I think I did that in May as well. But it was nice and therapeutic because all I had to really do, I didn't have to pick anything. I just had to match colors to the cover there, which was nice. I look forward to doing more in that book. And then my other watercolor, water-based marker experiment was in Color Yourself Tranquility. This is the tree version. Melissa Laney, maybe? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. This was a buddy color. She wasn't the first person who asked me. Jojosa Hannah was the first person who asked me. We've got one set up for July for our birthday month. But we decided to do this one in June. So, and that is a buddy color with Carrie K. That's her YouTube channel. This is very, very technical here. And her Instagram account is K Carrie. And now her little circle thing used to be an eye, so it was so easy to find. Now it's a picture of her. She's lovely. Excuse me. So I don't know how to edit a picture in there, so you're gonna have to go to her channel or her Instagram and see hers. But it's awesome. Oh my gosh, she outlined everything with a metallic rose gold marker. Oh, it's cool. It must have taken forever. But this is my other piece. This one took 3 weeks. Kind of a normal amount of time. Actually, I have some in the pile that took like 5 months. So I guess this is a reasonable amount of time. But we've got 2 different things going on here. There's glitter. We've got block coloring with water-based markers on the, well, I added this, the sun, and the only other addition I made was I made the clouds a little bit bigger. They were freakishly small clouds. I made them bigger. That's all I did to it. But we've got block coloring with water-based markers. The sun, the tree is, those little designs are block colored, and the dirt down here is also block colored. The sun is a Tombow, and I was doing my technique again, and it doesn't bleed through. Of course, you've got to put a coat on, wait, and do another coat so it doesn't bleed through. The only thing that bled through, Tombows and Hoo-Hoo markers work great. Water-based markers work great. I was trying out my new Crayola Colors of the World markers, and the only one that bled through was the skinny tip, super dark color that I did. And I actually did 3 coats. 2 maybe here, I think 2, 3 coats here, 3 coats on the dirt. Well, I used the big tips on the dirt there. That didn't bleed through. Just one of the Crayola ghosted a little bit. So, and, oh, and this dirt patch is a base coat, and then it's got Prismacolor over it, because there was no color. There's no color like that. So yeah, I think my experiments with trying to get the water-based markers not to show the streaks is going okay. The rest of it is Prismacolor. Oh, the rocks. The rocks are also water-based markers. Those are just, and many, many coats of water-based markers too. It starts to break down the paper, and you get these interesting textures, which make it kind of look rock-like, I think. I rather like that. This rock was also block colored with a dark gray and then a purple and then just some colored pencil over the top. It had lines in it. I had to put the lines back. It looked like a big block of cheese without the lines. Everything else is Prismacolor. This is just solid Prismacolor here. A lot of the, like this was based, the clouds and the leaves were based with water-based markers, and then Prismacolor on top. That was based. Not based. So yeah, I'm liking the water-based marker experiment that I'm doing. Okay, so, and remember, go check out Carrie Kay's channel so you can see her awesome piece. It's really nice. Thank you, Carrie Kay, for doing a buddy color with me in the tree book. I love trees, so I really appreciate it. It was a very pleasant experience, except probably when I spammed her on Instagram, because I can't work Instagram. Although that's one of those things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to learn how to work Instagram. I spammed her a million pictures. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me. All right. So now we have the Amazon books, and I'm very excited about this because there's so many artists I want to support with the Amazon books, and oh, the paper has made me crazy. But I think I'm over the hump now. I've figured out some techniques to where I can manage it. So we will start with this one, which is, it's one of those that I worked on. I primed it with satin glazing liquid in January, and I started it in January. That was actually a video that I did on how to do satin glazing liquid and how to make your Crayola colored pencils look like Prismacolors on top of satin glazing liquid. So there was a whole video about that. But yeah, I started that in January. I finished it in May. 4 months. 4.5 months it took me to do that page. So, like I said, it's satin glazing liquid, 2 thin coats, and then it's mostly Crayola colored pencil. I'll tell you where there's not Crayola colored pencil. The moon is done with, first there's a layer of dragon glaze, and then there's 2 different glitterifics on top of that, because I don't know, I think the moon should be all like sparkly. Can you see it sparkling there? And then I outlined it with a white Posca pen. And then on top of that is another layer of the dragonfly glaze again. So it's very sparkly. And then those are black Posca pins just to have the silhouettes of the dragons in the background. There's a little bit of jelly roll. Oh, I was so mad about this page because these flowers here were all supposed to be of the orange variety. This was supposed to be an orange flower. And I absentmindedly picked up the kind of the red-pink colorway that I was using and accidentally colored that one, thus throwing off my entire composition. I was so mad. So then I did the clouds orange. But the clouds are my Pretty Excellent, the Mei Liang watercolors. Oh, this is the second time I've done watercolor on top of the satin glazing liquid. And just a little bit. Oh, it works so well. Although you got to get it kind of like in one coat. It's kind of, because if you're painting on subsequent coats on top of the satin glazing liquid, you're just going to wipe off the coat that you just put on. So it's kind of like a one coat thing. But I really like how bright they are, and I enjoyed doing the watercolor thing. And the other watercolor I did was a long time ago on a lithographic book. I did a moon in watercolor, and I really liked it there too. I may have to satin glaze a whole page and do it all in watercolor. We shall see. Anyways, the dragon spots are Folk Art Color Shift, which is an acrylic paint. And so when you shift it, it shifts. So I finally finished that one. And this was not a buddy color, but to my surprise, Be Cozy, that's both her Instagram name and her YouTube name. She kept asking me, are you done? Are you done with the dragon picture? Are you done with the dragon picture? And then she surprised me. She's like, I did the same picture. Of course, she finished it months before I did, but hers is awesome. You should check it out. Yes, she did the same picture. Came out really good. So that wasn't really a buddy color. It was more of a surprise color, but I enjoyed it. So thanks, Be Cozy. All right, so we finished that one up in May. I've got so many stickies here now. All right, the next one I did, which I finished in June here, and this one I did a different technique, and this is the technique that I like. I mean, I like satin glazing liquid, but I'm really falling for alcohol markers. This one's got lots of glitter too. I don't know, can you see it on the horns and fins of the dragons there. So it's all of it is based in alcohol markers. This is one that took me 3 months. I started in April, I finished in June, 2.5, 3 months. My alcohol markers at the time were just Spree and Ahuhu, the pastel Ahuhus. I have since got more because I've really taken off with alcohol markers here, finally. And then Prismacolors, a Prismacolor blender pencil. So, and I was trying some things here. It was based in alcohol marker, the clouds and the smoke there. And then I put the white on. And then I did white Posca, and I just smudged it with my finger. I was watching somebody, oh, I wish I could say who, and it wasn't a how-to video. She just said that that's what she did. She smudged something with her finger, and I'm like, oh, I should try that somewhere. There's a lot of places you could use that. I have plans to use that in lots of places. I'm like, oh, why don't I do that? I just draw the line. If I smudged it, it's going to be better. You can see where I was practicing, and it wasn't as good, and then I got kind of better at it. But my piece de resistance was like the clouds, because I did it there. I got really good at it. And then I knocked back the white with other colors from the sky colors, basically, just a little bit. And you know, you're painting on top of acrylic paint now, so it doesn't really stick, but it just gave it enough to give it some really cool definition. I'm going to have to do that again. What else did we use? Artisan glitter gel pens. That's for the very shiny stuff. I like the Artisan glitter gel pens. They're bright and shiny, but their glitter goes everywhere. And I learned that the hard way. You can see it. It's like all in the sky. Maybe not. Because I was doing this dragon, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put the Artisan glitter gel pen on when it was like a third of the way done. And then I proceeded, every time I used my brush on the paper, I proceeded to dust glitter everywhere. And not only that, it infected all kinds of other books as well with little bits of glitter too. So yeah, mostly acrylic, alcohol markers and Prismacolors. There's a little bit of my Ahuhu acrylic markers and some Posca, white Posca. All right, so yeah, so that was in the win category. I think I'm suddenly, I want to do so many so many Amazon books now because I feel like I've kind of got the hang of it. Finally. Oh, did I say? That was 50 Marvelous Dragons by Camilla Angel Kova. I've got in my cart right now for my birthday haul. I do a haul every month, so it's not going to be any different. I've got another 50 book by her because I really like this book a lot. All right, my other, we'll save my favorite one for last here. This is one, it actually only took me 1.5 months once I got started. However, I satin glazed liquided this page. Oh, this is very tiny. Let me zoom you in. Way back in January, and then didn't start it till like May. Okay. So, like I said, it's got satin glazing liquid on. This is watercolor here in the backgrounds. And you see, I don't know if you saw the difference in the 50 Dragons book, but this is kind of just a wash of watercolor. It doesn't work very well for that. It works better for the details, I think, but you know, I wanted to give that a try. I wanted something easy in the background. And so mostly everything is based in Ohuhu water-based markers and possibly a Tombow here and there. And then the cats are all colored in Crayola colored pencils. And, oh, I was using my Signo Uniball gold gel pen again for the teacup. And there's lots of, on top of the basing, there's more water-based markers, there's gel pens, there's Posca pens, and Ohuhu acrylic pens, marker pens, and I think the rose was Prismacolor. Nope, I lied. The rose is all water-based markers, and then just a little bit of gel pen. So there's a dark gel pen, and then there's a light gel pen on the top. Because you know how when you do the white gel pen on top of colors, it changes. So I was trying to do that there. This one stumped me for a long time, so it sat there for like 4 or 5 months before I would do it. Because I'm like, I don't know how to color that. I don't know what to do. And it's okay. I really like the cats. I'm not crazy about the teacup, but that's all right. Okay. And so back to, this might be my favorite one of the month. I don't know. I do like Disco Queen, Drag Queen, whatever she was called. 50 Halloween Mandalas, Camilla Angel Kova again. And this one took me 2 days because I had my idea and I just went with it. So it is all alcohol based. It's based in alcohol markers with the exception of the ghost. The ghost just stayed white. I did alter this page because I cannot abide. Yeah. As I said, you know, with John Wick, it's like put a round thing in a square book. Otherwise, you have all this weird negative space. Although, on this book, I actually purchased this book because I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I'm going to do with the negative space here. I got ideas and plans for that. Because of the nature of these designs, I can easily manipulate the background to, you know, match them and not just have like this circle in the middle of the page. Bad composition, people, bad composition. Anyways, apparently that only bothers me and not a lot of other people. But, because Morgan O'Brien, oh my gosh, I just can't. So I put those in a square book, dude. So anyways, I altered it, obviously. I drew on the border. This was here. Everything was here. I drew this black line around the ghosts so that I wouldn't, you know, color in the ghosts. And I just mirrored this creepy little graveyard here and here. And I'll give you one guess. Put it in the comments. Whose grave is that? Possibly the sexiest man alive. Anyways, that's all the hints you get. Okay. So yeah, so I just mirrored that here and here. And I used a little bit of Prismacolor, white and pink, and then blender, and then a little Prismacolor there. The moon, again, my usual technique. It was based this time, because I learned from other moons, like, I like a purple moon. I don't know, I'm obsessed with purple moons. But anyways, it's based in light purple. Well, we can see the color. Very light purple from my Ohuhu pastel alcohol markers. And then there is a lot of Glitterific Princess, because it's purple and pink. And then on top is a huge, several layers of Dragonfly glaze on top of that to get that very shiny. Here, can we see it? Yeah, there we go. Very shiny, moon-like thing. The clouds are outlined in white Posca. The ghosts are outlined in Ohuhu acrylic markers, and then inside is just Dragonfly glaze on the naked white paper. So they're naked ghosts. And I think that's about it. So yeah, I really like this page. It might be my favorite one, although the one coming up is fairly interesting as well. So yeah, so I want to do a whole bunch of Amazon books now that I've kind of got the hang of it. Okay, and this one is in the category of, I don't know, just normal. There's no experimenting, there's no learning, just the normal stuff. This is Romantic Country, the second tale by Erie. Everybody knows her, she's very popular. All right, I started this one in February and finished it in June. So how many ever months that is? It's like half a year. The background is some regular apple barrel paint, just acrylic matte paint, and then there's on top of that is 2 shift colors, so it's very shiny background. So that shifts. I used 2 different colors. I kind of alternated them. In order to get the shift paints to work, I find it's best to kind of like water them down and then just put a whole bunch of layers on there. I like the permanent nature of acrylic paint, which is why I use it a lot. However, here, I guess I was experimenting a little bit. Something I don't use very often. I have the Collegiate metallic watercolors. They look like this. I don't know, they're not fancy. Somebody gave them to me and they're fine. I don't have anything to compare them against, so I don't really know. They seem nice and intense, except for the purple. But yeah, they're very glittery. That's all I have. So I used those on the hills. I did alter this a little bit. I drew a big moon, and I finished the hill off, and I put some background hills, because, you know, you've got to have depth in a picture. Anyway, it was very flat. So those are the metallic watercolors, and unfortunately I was heavy-handed with those, and they bled through, because I forget myself when I'm painting, which is probably why I like acrylic paints. They generally don't bleed through. Okay, and then the rest is Prismacolor, and lots of different acrylic markers. I used my Ohuhu acrylic markers, I used Posca acrylic markers, and I used my new Arctics acrylic markers, which are not acrylic paint markers as Posca and Ohuhu are acrylic paint markers. I think these are just acrylic ink. So when I did it with those, which I like them, I like the Arctics because I really like the nib on them. But when I used them, I did have to go over it like 2 and 3 times to make it opaque, because it's not opaque. So you have to have the patience to do that. But the nib is wonderful. The brush nib one. I didn't try the other nib. So yeah, so I tried to stick with, you know, just 2 color schemes for these weird plants in the foreground there, to really make them pop, as if you're looking through to the creepy house there in the back. So yeah, once I actually started working on this, so like a long time ago I did the background here, and then another time I did all the painting. So even though it took me like half a year, I probably only worked on it a matter of, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. It's just that I kind of start things and then I don't know what to do, and I set them aside for a long time. That's why I'm so slow, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I really rather like this one. So, hopefully you can see all the shiny stuff. It's pretty cool. All right, that is it. We're done. So, I hope you have had a wonderful time with me today. I appreciate your stopping by. I appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate doing the buddy color with Carrie K and also the surprise buddy color with Be Cozy, although I finished many months later. And that's it. Have a wonderful holiday for those of you who live in the U.S. And I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.